So how can you profit the most amount of money when selling your home?
Tell me more.
I'm not just gonna tell you what you should do, I'm actually selling my home. So I'm gonna show you step by step every single thing that we do.
Oh, that's even better.
And then I'm gonna show you exactly how much more money that nets us at the end of the day. My wife Stephanie and I, we are selling our very first home that we purchased back in 2015 here in San Diego. We've done a lot of upgrades, we put a lot of love into this house, but there's definitely still some opportunity for us to make some repairs and upgrades to be able to sell for top dollar. Now we have about 30 days left before we're gonna sell this home, so I wanna show you everything that we do along these next 30 days to maximize our profits. So the first step in the process is just to figure out how much homes are selling for in your neighborhood. Comparable properties with similar square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms. What are they selling for? What have they sold for in the last 6 months? And how does your property compare to those properties? If your property is near the bottom end of that price range, based off of the upgrades that you've done, then you definitely have some opportunity to get more bang for your buck. But if you're already maxed out, if you're already at the top end of that range, you may want to hold off before you put in any major upgrades because you might be going too high for your neighborhood.
Too high?
So for our home, we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, looking at a half-mile radius out from our home because that's the size of our extended neighborhood. There are about 20 properties that are similar to our home that sold in the last 6 months. And they range anywhere from $615,000 to $773,000. And you could do this on Zillow, Redfin. You could take a look at what homes recently sold so that you can get an idea of what your home could sell for. Now, based on our current upgrades and our specific location, I would put our home sale at around $730,000 to $740,000 if we were to sell today. And Zillow actually has our home at $740,000. So in this scenario, I would say Zillow is actually pretty accurate on that. I wouldn't always go by those sites. In fact, Redfin is, I think, pretty off for our home. But sometimes you can get a little bit of a sense of what your home can go for just by looking at those numbers. It's another metric to go off of. All right, so if our home is currently worth $740,000, which is even at the high end of that range, I think we could get up to the high 700s, maybe even break into 800 if we do things really, really right. So we have plenty of opportunity for some minor, maybe even some semi-big renovations that we can do over the next 30 days. So once you know where you're currently at, take some pen and paper, walk around your house, and just make a list of the things that you can upgrade or fix that are going to help your home look better to a potential buyer. You really want to think in terms of what a buyer is going to see and notice when they're walking around the home. So things like fresh paint, landscaping, kitchen upgrades, stainless steel appliances, those are the types of things that buyers are looking for when they're walking through a home. In most scenarios, you don't want to think about items that buyers aren't going to see. So things like electrical, plumbing, roof, those aren't things that you want to spend a whole bunch of money on because are you going to get that money back at the end of the day? Most of the times not. Now every situation is different and you'll see that here later, but for the most part, general rule of thumb, don't worry about those items. And next you want to prioritize that list. What are the items that are going to have the biggest impact on buyers walking through your home? What's really going to wow them? And what can you realistically accomplish with whatever time frame that you're working with? It's also worth noting at this point in the stage, if you can't figure out the items that you think would have the biggest impact, have someone come out and give you some suggestions. Myself as a real estate agent, I will help buyers walk through their house and give them a priority list of items that they need to accomplish before selling their home. That just makes it easier for them so they don't even have to think about it. They just start working their way down the list. All right, so now it's time for me to actually show you the things that we are gonna fix before listing our house. Let's check it out. All right, so in a lot of scenarios, the first thing I'm gonna recommend is take a look at the exterior of the home. So we already painted the exterior of our home. We did it for about $3,000, just under $3,000. It's a 1-story home. And just keep in mind, this is the first photo people are gonna see online of your home is the exterior photo in most scenarios. So to get people in the door to actually view the home and bid that price up, it's really important that the front of the house looks really, really great. The name of the game, the thing that you need to do is get people into your house to view it to be able to bid that price up. So the first step is making sure the exterior looks really good, which is going to be landscaping and it's going to be painting. And for us, based on the homes in our neighborhood, what they've sold for, $3,000 is a no-brainer to make this house look a little bit more modern and ready to go and get more people in the door. Now, next up is something I'm actually not going to recommend most people to do, and that's replacing your roof. We redid our roof for the sale of our house. Now, this cost us $10,000. The question is, at the end of the day, is a buyer going to pay $10,000 at least more for your house because you redid a roof? In most scenarios, the answer is going to be no. But in our scenario specifically, there's a couple reasons that we did it. For one, our old roof, it didn't look that bad, but we had a reoccurring leak in the garage that we could not patch up. And we also had some wood rot as you were leaving our house right under the front door. I don't want people leaving to think, oh, you know what? I may not put an offer on this house because I'm worried, I'm concerned of what's going on up there. So we went ahead and got this fixed. While we were up here, we also added in some solar tubes. So because the roofers were up here, they were able to add solar tubes for $0.
Zero, you say?
Yep. That cost us nothing for them to install it. So we were able to get a couple things out of this, and in our scenario, the roof made sense. And next up we have the kitchen, which actually is our favorite place in the house. We come in here all the time, we love to cook, and it's nice and open. We have a lot of natural light coming in here, white cabinets, we have some white granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, a farmhouse sink. All these things are really good things to have. For the most part, our kitchen's great. But there's one thing that I think would really help in this kitchen, just help it pop when people are walking through the house, and that's this backsplash. The backsplash that we have just reminds me of an early 2000s home. And for about 1,800 bucks, we can get some really premium tile and put it in this backsplash. I'm telling you, it's gonna make the world of difference when people walk through here. So those big items, you wanna get scheduled ASAP because you only have so much time before you have to put your house on the market. Once you get those items scheduled, once you get those big upgrades done, make sure you are making a list of all the upgrades that you are doing to your house right now and the upgrades that you've done over the last couple of years. Put it in a Word document and pass it out to every single buyer that walks through your house because you want them to know that the seller has taken very good care of that property. So after those big upgrades, our priority list is comprised of kind of some smaller items. So adding some new light fixtures to the bathrooms, patching up walls, rearranging furniture so rooms look bigger, and heavy-duty cleaning and decluttering. Now, it's very important to take down personal items like family photos, but also any items that are related to dogs and cats, because you don't know who's going to be walking through your house. You want them to envision themselves living there. And if someone who's allergic to cats sees a giant cat tower in the middle of the living room, well, they're not going to be getting the warm and fuzzies about living at that house or buying it from you.
It's okay if you hate cats, Greg.
So for the exterior of our house, looking at back at the priority list, we need to repot some plants. We need to fix up our garden. We need a general cleanup of everything in our backyard. And we need mulch. We need lots and lots of mulch because mulch is one of the cheapest and easiest ways to freshen up a yard. If you have an area that you don't know what to do with it, 9 times out of 10, you could probably just add some fresh mulch. It's gonna make it look great. Now, once you're done with your priority list, there's 2 more things that you should consider. 1, deep clean your house, whether that's you or hiring some professionals to do it. You want the windows deep cleaned inside and out. You want the AC vents cleaned in every single room. You want the shelves that you've never dusted. You want to dust those shelves. Top to bottom, you want to clean your house. And second, you may want to consider hiring a stager. Now, you could get a stager out to your house, even if you think that your house looks really great. A lot of times you can have them come out and do a consultation with you. So just an hour-long consultation of walking around and showing you how to best present your house with the items you already currently have in your house. They can also do partial staging, so they can bring in some items. Maybe you have 1 or 2 pieces of furniture that just don't look that great, or maybe you need some nice artwork. They can bring in a couple items at a very minimal cost and really make your home pop. And lastly, you could do full staging. So if all of your furniture is outdated, but your house is pretty updated, or if you've already moved out and it's completely empty, you may have to pay a couple $1,000s to get your house staged. But a couple things to note there is, 1, you usually can pay through escrow, so you're not gonna pay out of pocket. And 2, it's really important to do that if your house is upgraded, because again, you want buyers to envision themselves living there. And the nicer it looks with paintings and photos and furniture and just staged really, really well, you're gonna get more money for your house than the amount of money that you spent on that stager. So when it's all said and done, the Parkers, we're spending about $15,000 to get our home completely ready for sale. That includes about $500 or so of small items, and a strong majority of that are some of the bigger upgrades that we're doing to our home. Now keep in mind, again, we are redoing our roof. In most scenarios, I wouldn't recommend redoing our roof, and that is costing us $10,000. So keep that in mind. You're not gonna have to spend $15,000 to make your home ready for a sale, but in our specific scenario, that's what we ended up doing. So if you look at the fact that our home would have sold for $730,000 to $740,000, add in those $15,000 of upgrades, that means we need to sell our home for at least $755,000 for all this work to be worth it. Now is the exciting part. How much are we actually gonna get for our house? Well, we're gonna show you. So I'm gonna create one more video after this. Right now, today I'm recording this, I'm about a week away from listing our house. We're gonna go through the whole process of selling it and show you exactly how much money we end up getting for our house. So take a look at this video right here, if it's available, and if you have any questions about this process here in San Diego, feel free to give me a call. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.